want to say. I'm Aaron Bean, and I'm going to recognize myself for the last little bit of questioning. Thank you for your patience today. Thanks for coming. I know it's your own volition that you're here to tell a story. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes life, you get lucky in life. I am a brand new congressman. I got lucky when Chairman Williams drafted me for this committee. I really didn't understand or know about this committee until I have spent a year on it. It's small business. It champions small business. And it's so exciting. It's part of the American dream to have an idea or a better mousetrap and develop it and push it. I've been involved in 4 small businesses myself, and it does get your heart beating. People don't know. People don't know that you work harder, you work longer. You get up there, but you pay yourself last. And when you have the responsibility of keeping your employees, food on their table, it's a great responsibility to have that to happen. And so for the last year, we've had people sitting in your very seats from around the country that have either launched or started, and the general, bragging about their business, and they should. And typically, the message is get out of our way. Let's let government get out of our way. Let us do the thing. But they assume that government is going to enforce the rules. That's I think one of the key things that government should do is just keep businesses safe and enforce the rules. And something changed over the last 3 years. It was about 2020 or so, as I recollect, but I will throw that out to you guys. It seems something changed that we didn't see. And see, what America sees right now, my constituents see, is if you go on social media or on the internet, every 3rd or 4th video is a mob going into a store and just clearing shelves. They're harassing customers at restaurants. They are just engaging in lawlessness that we've never seen before, and that is definitely a threat to small businesses. So my leadoff question is to Chief Roach. You've been in law enforcement for 20 years. What happened? What happened in the last 3 years that has have the bottom falling out? And why is lawlessness the law of the land right now? Why seems that we're just going down the toilet in enforcing the law? What is your thoughts, Chief Roach?
Thank you, Congressman. I would start with the pandemic. I think when the pandemic started, we certainly saw a rise in crime, and following that, in that time frame, we had bail reform, and as I've mentioned ad nauseum today, it's a continual arrest of the same individuals over and over and over again.
That's it. Why don't we just keep them in? It seems like if we would keep them in jail, wouldn't that make law enforcement a lot easier? And then Elmer's restaurants would have less to worry about. Would that be a fair statement, Chief Roach?
Well, I certainly think that, as I mentioned before, giving the judges the discretion to do that would be a nice thing.
Is it true that, it sounds crazy, but we live in a crazy world, and this is crazy town, that if we lock up bad guys, they're less likely to commit future crimes? Is that true?
I would agree with that statement.
That is the takeaway. If there's one thing that I think this committee could learn, or at least the world could learn from, locking up bad guys, crime goes down, which is something else. We haven't spoken a lot about anti-Semitism. I was on another committee that talked to anti-Semitism in education. It's shocking. Review the tape. You've probably already watched it when we had presidents of our elite universities. But Ms. Rez, you also have talked about that anti-Semitism is in small business. We've seen it in restaurants. We've seen vandalism. What can you say that hasn't been said that we need to know that this is a real problem?
I think the issue is, again, as I said ad nauseum, is that the legislation is there. Our judicial partners are not properly executing it. So there was an incident in May 2021 where there was a violent assault on a Jewish man, and the perpetrator, the attacker, appeared in court and was given an appearance ticket, essentially being let out onto the street. He then publicly stated, which the New York Post picked up, that he would, quote, happily do it again. So this is so frightening in this current day and age to be a Jew in America, whether it's a small business owner, whether it's civilian, whether it's a congressman. And it's just honestly unfathomable that it's
not locking up
happening
bad guys.
in
We're not.
2023.
Amen. No,
2024, excuse me.
Amen. Right there. Thank you for bringing that forward. And my last question is to, or I'm going to throw it open if somebody else wants to jump in. Mr. Scott, thanks for coming. The story of the Elmer family starting their business from scratch, and now you have the big responsibility of leading them. And crime is a theme today, and it's a challenge. But there is something else, a great storm that is headed towards small business, and it's the National Labor Relations Board rule change that says small businesses may be responsible for the working conditions of franchise employees, contract employees, employees that really not come under your purview, but they're going to say you have to take care of them. Tell us about that rule and just how devastating could it be to small business?
Thank you, Congressman. The National Labor Relations Board, as you alluded, has come up with an unneeded, overly broad rule that would make franchisors responsible for the actions of a franchisee regarding their employees, even though the franchisor has no control over that. It would be devastating to the franchise relations. Neither franchisors nor franchisees want this. The current standard of direct immediate control has worked well for years. And I appreciate you supporting that. I would urge every congressman, I would ask them for their support on HDR 98, which
it's by John James from Michigan that the House is set to vote on that rule. We've seen stores close due to crime. We've seen small businesses close due to crime. Could we see stores close because of this rule change if it's not corrected? That's a toss-up question, but Jerry Scott, you're up first. Could we see stores close? Is that a possibility? Small businesses could get hurt by this rule, close even?
Well, there's sort of two parts there. One part is absolutely small businesses will be hurt by this. It will definitely discourage franchising, and it will make the franchisor-franchisee relationship less supportive of each other simply because, hey, you do that and I'm responsible for it.
Yeah.
And will we see businesses close? Well, I cannot predict the future, but I can tell you that this would be a very, very wet blanket on expansion of the economy and expansion of small businesses. Many people get their start through franchising so they can be in business for themselves but not by themselves. The NLRB rule threatens that dramatically.
Amen. Amen. Thank you for coming forward. And